Good morning, traders. This is Rose with Brooks Price Action. Today is Monday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, August 22nd. Welcome. Brand new week. Just doing a quick audio and video check. Okay. All right. We have a passing storm here. We had a little bit of internet issues in the morning early. It was in and out. Nothing I could do about it, but it seems to be fine right now. So fingers crossed, all will be good, and we don't have to deal with anything during the live session until noon. But just warning you that it might happen, so nobody gets panicked. I'll be back if that happens. I'll let you guys know that if I cannot establish the internet connection, but it should be all fine. Anyway, all right, let's begin with what's happening with the monthly chart first. So we don't have a good sell signal bar at the moment with this month, but we have met some objectives. I was looking for a test of this EMA and a test of this tight trading range congestion zone right there. But really the high of this month was what we expected to test. So bears want to see a double top and a bear flag, and they wanted to come down and test this low right here. Okay, so which is the June low. You can see that that is the support right there, but we never tested this support thoroughly, okay, on the monthly. Now this right here, trading range broke out, so that is a buy zone, and we did buy there, but we have a wedge here, okay. We were down, up, down, up, down again, and up. So, or you could say down, up and down, up, down. So we could end up coming down, okay? We might make a higher low and then go back and test this. That will put us a huge trading range. That could last several years. I mean, look at this. And L has been talking about, we're already in a trading range, but, you know, we could end up coming down and testing. That will give us that reversal, go back up, and then, you know, for a long time we could be in this trading range. But anyway, so far what I'm seeing here is also leg 1 correction, leg 2 correction. We need the leg 3. So then I would, okay, look for these bull targets to be tested if we can either make a lower low double bottom or higher low double bottom, and then the EMA would come up, and then we could just go right back up. These would be my bull targets on the monthly, but obviously that's a long time from now, so don't want to spend too much time on the monthly. It is what it is. We have met the targets. Now on the weekly, it's you could see that we've tested this equal highs, which is, I believe, May 4th high, but we failed to test this 50 SMA. Okay, so it's kind of a bummer because we should have tested it. We should have tested it and stayed there for a while before coming down. So that makes it very interesting chart because we could go back up again. Bears need some kind of double top, and we could end up going back up again because we do have falling resistance line here. Now I cannot take it this way. I have to make it this way. So that gives me another signal or confirmation that we have left behind a major, target there. Not only the SMA, we failed to test the upper resistance line, that falling resistance line, that trend line, we failed to test. But we kind of knew that would happen when the weekly bulls were trying to reach this target and that target. When we reached that target, I said, we're going to push up a little bit because liquidity is sitting, very heavy liquidity is sitting above this equal high. Even if we tested the target, we're going to keep pushing this up further. And we have to tap into that liquidity in order to sell. Okay, so now as we are in this week, you could see 2 bars engulfed. This breakout point, I'm going to get rid of this. Instead, I'm going to put it right there. That breakout point is target. Okay, just want to make sure. Yep. So we did not test that, so we could come back. We could come down and test that. Okay, or maybe highs is somewhere there. We could reverse back up and go back and finally test this trend line. I am done with this, so I'm going to get rid of this one. I no longer am interested. This is the one that I'm interested. Now, this right here, I'm going to leave that on. Okay. That's the breakout test. Now, what bears would like to do and what they see here, they see a bear channel down, which is bear trend, and they're seeing a wedge bear flag, but they need some kind of lower high. They need some kind of double top. So that gives me an idea that I think we're going to bounce and we're going to try that again, okay, before selling. Unless they start to sell, okay, they break this and they sell into the support area and then we bounce there. And that's possible too, but really the goal is to get down to here, okay? But before we get down there, I mean, we have a lot of balance zones, the areas where price was in agreement before breaking out. So those areas are going to hold the price, okay? There's an inefficiency here. If they start to sell, the goal is to test that inefficiency before bouncing again, but we could end up selling into this area. But we will be stopped out there before we're reaching down here. So today is very interesting. Bears want this week to be bearish, okay? There is a bullish gap here that lots of buyers are waiting there, okay, starting right there. And we do have a wedge, you could see. So this right here or somewhere here, start of the third leg, I would say this is first leg, either, I'm going to say that's the second leg, and then we break out and we go up. So you see why I think that this area is important. I think it's attracting the price, the market. So if we do break here strongly, even if we come down, the problem also, another problem is this 200-day moving average. It either acts as a support or resistance. It's going to try to hold, okay, the price from falling further. It's because I think we need to test, if we need to sell this, we need to test this high and then come down. So it's going to be an interesting week, I believe. Okay, so just leave it like that. Now on the daily, same thing. We have a magnet up here, a breakout area. Okay, this bears broke that neckline, and then we could still go up and test and then come down. We'll see. Right now we are in between the 150 and 200 day. So we are back to the 2022 50% midpoint. On Friday we've tested it and we just bounced there quickly. And the reason why we tested it, because those traders who sold there got stuck, right? So the market went up. So we just came back and tested. So they're kind of broke even right there. So we were at the support level. Can we come down further? We could come down, like I said. There's a gap here. Bears might close this gap, right there. And then finally we could go up. But that's, again, this is daily. So it will be interesting. Now, if we start to sell, again, take a look at these legs and where it paused before breaking out again. That pause area is a major buy zone. If we do dip, we'll probably buy there again. Okay, so I'm going to leave it like that. So the bears really need to create several consecutive strong bear closes on the daily chart in order to keep selling. But even if they do, I think this area, once they close this gap, is going to act as support. As long as we stay above this 50%, bulls are going to try to reverse this back up in hopes of reaching this falling resistance line. So that's why I think it's very interesting. So the Globex session, we have a, let's see, quite a large range here. We're at the low of the Globex session, Globex low, and we're looking for support here, as you can see, why we're here, why that is support. Now, we're going to gap up. We're going to gap down at the open. We're going to be way below here. Okay. Somewhere here in this area. So Friday, we had major gap down, and then you had bar 1 and 2 dojis, but both of them closing on their mid levels. Now, it kind of stopped me in my tracks. I didn't want to sell right away because I was really looking for one of the bars to close stronger to say that this is a trend from the open. But then we ended up getting these 2 dojis. I started to look left, like why that is happening. Why is it not selling with one of the bars? Like, what's causing this? So let me add a little bit more here. Support here. So I started to think we have a huge trading range. We'll probably try to use this as a support, and that's what the market tried to do. But the problem here is that no bull bars. First 2 bars are still bear bars closing on their lows. So then I start to think, well, there is a kind of a, if you look at the higher time frame, you'll see some kind of a gap or inefficiency. And then this area and that area. So I start to think and start to putting lines here. Okay. Maybe we have a room to go down to these levels first, which I put it on the ETA chart. And I start to think, I think we need to test this area first before we decide to go up. Then you got the bar 3. Then I said, okay, now this is becoming a trend from the open. And we had a little pause there. But in essence, if you look at here, this is a one big, okay, bear trend. It's pausing to get another leg down. When you see bar 3 like that, you should expect another couple of legs down, at least 2. And then we started to sell the close, sell underneath with stop orders, bar 3, and we came in right here. As soon as we came into that area, we started to stall. So you got another breakout bar, right? Breakout continuation 4, and then another breakout bar 5. But where is the next continuation bear bar? Suddenly we get the bar 6 due to this area. I kind of expected that we would pause there. But if you go back a little bit more, this area was what I was more interested, and I marked it and I said, we're going to test that before bouncing. And then look at that. We just bounce right there. But when you get a leg like this with 5 bear bars, okay, and then you're getting these bars 6 and 7, very poor, very weak bull bars, this is already telling you that a trend like this is going to go into some kind of trading range, small or big, whatever, but it will go into a trading range, maybe 2 legs, 10 bars, 20 bars. So we had about 10 bars, 11 bars trading range right there. But you could see that every single bar is betting against each other, right? So you have bears who sold here, got stuck there with bar 6 and 7. They're going to sell either above that or a couple of points. Let's see how many points. Limit order sellers will try to sell and try to break even. So let's say they start selling, that was 4 points, but in essence they start to sell around 1 point. I wouldn't do 1 point, but 2 point, okay, and or 5 point. They're going to start to sell again because they're not happy. They don't see good bull closes like 6 and 7, but they still think that what if this just turns and goes right back up? It can, because this is support here. So now their goal has changed. In order, instead of selling, they're disappointed here. What they're going to do is they're going to sell above the first, okay, bull bar they see, or 2 points above, 5 points above. They're going to sell in order to get out, break even with their first sell, and then they're going to try to see if they're actually making money with their second sell. But the problem is this area. Okay, so it's not to swing it down. It's to actually, conditions are changing. We could reverse, but if it doesn't reverse, at least let's wait for this, okay, trading range to be over and see if we're actually going to accumulate and reverse, or are we going to accumulate and sell, okay? But when you see something like this and you have a trading range and we're not getting above those highs, and look at the line that I put in there. 43, this is actually 50. We are not closing any bars above it. In fact, we kept testing it, and bulls are not able to break out, right? So everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen there. So you can see that's the midpoint. I want to get rid of that. See how it's holding? That's right there is a bear flag. And you got the low 1. First try selling after making a new low, bar 8, right? And then the second try, so that's your low 2, second try selling, and then finally we get a breakout, right? So, but even if it's a breakout, you have to also think, will the bulls, this trading range, buy 2 points below that low, okay, and try to reverse this back to the EMA? They try to buy. Look, they started to buy at the 2 point, right? Even further down, 10 point. But really the buyers finally started showing a 10 point. Now, when you buy, start to buy underneath that low around 2 point. The goal is to move above that low to make money. Now, look at bar 19. Okay, so bar 19 moved only a couple of points, right? 35, right? Only three ticks, not even a point. Sorry, a couple of ticks I meant. So it actually moved. So did they make money? Did the buyers vote underneath this trading range? No, they didn't. When they see that they're not making any money, they're going to get out quickly, and that creates a bar 20. Okay, but look what's happening here. Let me get rid of this. You got a nice leg down. This is a bear flag. it's actually 2 legs down, right? And then I'm going to measure the 10 point, okay? Just to make sure where the buyers are going to start to show up. So we have 2 legs. We sold. That's fine. We're far away from the EMA, right? We're getting closer to this magnet, which is the 2022 midpoint. What is that? Sorry about that. So, but we have a 2-legged cell here. Then you get this bar 21, right? It is a big bear bar, bar 19. I'm sorry, bar 20. Now, we also have an 18 bar range break already came in, but when you don't get continuation after bar 20 and you get bar 21, you got to start to think, okay, so is this just a pause? Are they going to be selling above this? In fact, they did try selling, but when the bulls get the second bull bar, those limit order sellers who sold and scalped a point or two, whatever they did, they don't see a bear bar, they're not going to linger, and they're not going to keep selling with limit orders. Bar 22, if that's the second bar, okay, closing on its high, these limit order sellers are going to get out. If you sold close with a market order, or you sold with a stop order underneath bar 20, just like here with bar 5, you're disappointed. The whole idea of selling above this bar is to break even with your first entry, okay, and then make money with your second entry, which you sold, right? Second sold. So if the second entry is not making money and they're getting no bear bars, all these bears are going to get out. Now you start to think, okay, somewhere around near the 10-point area, bulls did show up. And now they're buying and the bears quickly got out. So I should expect 10 bars, 2 legs at least to the EMA, or somewhere near the top, okay, or the 1/3 of this climactic legs, okay. This is the 1/3 top, okay. This is the mid, and this is the bottom 1/3. So somewhere here, I should expect to take profit and bulls to take us there. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bars. Okay, we did get up there. There's a sell zone right there. But they started to take profit right there. So when you have, now why did they take profit? There's also another reason, right? It's a 20-bar gap. We have more than 20 bars, right? So I told you guys that I sold the close of that bar right there, right? So because it's the 20th bar, more than 20 bars, gapping to the EMA, no touch, chances are sellers are waiting there and they're going to sell. And I also know that it's a 10 bars, 2 legs. And I also know that we're getting very closer to the climactic, bear channels 1/3, okay, the top of the trading range. I also know that there was an agreement zone right there. There's a trading range that's about the 50% mid section of that trading. So I know that there are bears waiting there, okay? So I took a chance, but it wasn't really a chance. I already know that this repeats itself over and over. So I've traded this many times. I said, I have a great opportunity here with a tiny little risk. My risk is so small. My stop is being my risk, right? I'm going to put it a couple, maybe like a 2 ticks above. I'm done. I can put my stop here, but I don't need to do it. I don't need to have a big stop when I'm trying to sell and scalp. So I grabbed a couple of points, and then I saw this closed. I sold underneath. I added instead of scalping out. So my goal was, do you see this little zone, leg, pause, breakout? That's what I'm targeting. That's what I took profit right there. That was a beautiful sell. Got in about here. I started to take profit right there. That was about, I didn't get the full, I think I've got about 5 points and a quarter, but that was a good scalp. So that's what I did. But the problem here is that you're selling against a strong bull leg, right? And now we're in a trading range, right? So we do have a gap, bear gap, right? We have a big bear gap. We have another bear gap. So chances are, even if we get above this, I'm looking for another sell opportunity. So I'm counting now. Okay, I didn't go long with this. I did expect bulls trying to become always in long, but the problem here, we do have a strong resistance there, right? So, and we have gapping, right? Gap bars. So I'm thinking, you know, we could still sell. So I start to look for 1, 2, 3 wedge right there. You could see, right? 1, 2, and 3. Bulls started to put gap bars. They're trying to become always in long, but the problem is, if you measure this entire range, we're kind of testing the 50%. And we have a wedge. You could say 1, 2, and 3, and a higher high double top major trend reversal. Or you could say, no, I think I'm gonna count from here 1, 2, and 3. That's fine. Or wedges can be 4 pushes, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a lower high, right? So that's right there. First sell, we went below, right? I'm not gonna buy above this. This isn't a high one because it closed below its mid. And then there you go, you get a good trigger. You could sell. If you haven't sold it, you could sell here. I know you get nervous. I get nervous when I'm selling right at the EMA and there's a bullish channel there, right? What am I doing? Well, if you put a trend line, I'm going to put a trend line right there. I'm going to connect those lows, right? So maybe from there to there, but I'm going to take that. So if we have a break of that trend line, and if you're selling, just let the bear sell because obviously they're selling, right? We're closing below. You already knew that this sell was going to come in because of these gaps, right? Because of these huge gaps. Yes, bulls managed to have a always in long, but we also have a 50% of this huge leg. So this is a big bear flag. It's actually also a double top bear flag. Double top bear flag, okay? So I'm not expecting bulls to do a good job here. They're not getting good continuations after the breakouts anyway. I see it. So I'm going to let them sell, and I'm looking to sell again because chances are, if this is a wedge, okay, double top, I'm looking for a lower high and sell again. I actually ended up selling here. I wasn't very happy with my decision to sell there because of these 2 dojis, but I sold it anyway because of the wedge, okay, trend line broken. When it gets up there, you're looking for another lower high or maybe even test high, but I didn't think that they were going to be able to get up here because of these conditions. You can learn about it in the Brooks trading course. And I actually sold it, but my goal was that I'm going to sell this. Yes, I'm selling against this, but this is a bear flag on its own. I'm going to sell this, but my stop is so small, I don't need to worry about losing. Even if it goes against me, okay, that's okay. That's a small risk I can afford, but my reward is probably going to be bigger as I'm targeting that low and that low again. So we came down to where I was targeting. I believe I took profit somewhere between 50 and there, and I got out. I didn't want to wait for that. I could have, but I didn't. And then they just went back up anyway. So I keep selling the pullbacks, selling the pullbacks. Look where they ended up going to. I didn't have a runner. I kind of ended the day. I wanted to start my weekend. I was perfectly fine with my reward. But if I held it, this would have been the target because it's always been the magnet. And we finally look at that. We just tested and we went right back up. That target was also right here, okay? So you could have watched the daily. Anyway, so market is open now. Gap down. So we are gap down, and we just tested the Globex low, okay? We don't have a breakout yet from the Globex low, so I have several areas that I marked. Now, I want to take a look at something here. Big gap down. I need to change that. That's open last week. So I'm no longer interested in this. But those are important. Now there's a gap here. Okay. That area is important. That area is important. This huge gap, I'm not going to mark it, but that's that inefficiency I was talking about. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to mark. I don't need to mark. I'll mark it later on, but I'm going to get rid of that. That's the open of the week, open of the day. Major gap down. Waiting for the first bar to close. Now, do we have a support there? Yes, we do. It's the EMA, okay? I'm sorry, the SMA on the daily, but we haven't tested it. So can we come down further? Yes, we can. So this can come down a little bit more. Okay, it's looking for support, but there is the gap here, right? Can we close this gap? Can we come all the way down here? We could. So I'm going to wait a little bit. We are way below the 150 SMA. So that EMA on the daily, SMA on the daily, this blue line, that is the target. And you saw that there's a huge gap. Can we sell this? Can this become a sell to close trend from the open? Well, we'll see. I mean, the gap down is pretty big. Now, can bulls reverse this? Well, they're going to have to find some support here first. They're going to probably try to close that gap right there, okay, before even having an attempt to bounce and close the gap to the upside. So that's going to be difficult. So I'm going to wait for bears to sell this before I do anything. In fact, they're trying to reach right now, I'll tell you, 4170. But they could bounce as early as 4171. 4170 is the target. Oh, that bar, look at that bar. It's getting bigger and bigger. Okay. That's a good close. So, but look where we're heading towards. So that's why I said don't try to buy anything yet, because we are looking for some kind of support. So we have a strong bear bar now. And bears need a second bar, but that bar is going to try to get continuation, probably a little bit more room to that moving average on the daily. Where they're trying to go is right there. It's the 6450. We could test 6450. It's only a 4 points, 3 points below. So the second bar becomes a good strong bear close. It could try to sell. If we do get a sell climax at the open, which I don't know yet, so I don't want to say that that is going to be the case, because we're bouncing from that support a little bit. Any kind of breakout at the open, you have 80% have minor reversal and 50% have major reversal. So we do have a major gap down. We're going to get some kind of minor reversal up, but I can't really call this a major sell-off yet. So I have to wait for the bar 2. Bar 1 is trying to get continuation, but I did say that that was the target. That was the first target, and we're going to bounce because they're looking for support. But we should continue down a little bit, at least to 64.50 area. But let's see. That we need a second bear bar to close on its low or mid to continue selling into that area I talked about. Now, can we reverse right back up? It's probably too early to do that. So my target was 41.70. We ended up moving down 2.5 points. So if you sold this first bar, you should have taken profit somewhere there. Now, how can we reverse? Well, bulls need to close, in order to reject this, they need to close the bar 2 on its high and start to overlap with the bar 1. Okay, and then close the second bar, then we would get some kind of rejection, or at least we need a couple of bull bars closing on their highs. But we are far, far away, okay, from the EMA. Bar 1 is a really strong close, and very important for me to wait for the bar 2 because it's only 43 seconds left. It's going to give you a lot of information. So I can't really speak for the bulls yet. I need to see them start to close bull bars if you want to go up a little bit before selling again. Now, could this be very low for bears to sell? Well, we'll know with the bar 2 close, you'll know that. If bears don't want to sell this and they think that this is far below the average price, okay, that's just too low, they prefer to sell the pullbacks. That means you have to wait for bar 2 to close bullish. Now, it didn't close bullish. Bears did the minimum they could do to prevent that from closing bullish. There's not much of information there, you might think, but there is information there. That's actually ends up being a continuation. So, but it's still a doji, so it's not a good continuation. But they're still trying to sell. I'm gonna wait a little bit more. Now, bulls look at this as, well, that's a failure. If bar 1 is a good breakout bar, can we buy 1 tick above bar 2 and then go and test the high of, or the open of bar 1? Now, they could do that because they already see that there is a hesitation, okay, to sell this low. So they just bet against, okay, that this is being too low. Probably not many bears will sell. But the bears are looking at it as, you know, some bears might be looking at it as, well, that didn't really good bet against a bear bar, buy the close, bear bar, and go. So where is the bull close? So that is the best the bears can do to prevent bulls. So to me, this is not much of an information. I'm going to wait. Okay, just like yesterday's price action, which is Friday's price action, we ended up getting 2 dojis, way more gap down, but then the decision was made with bar 3. That could be a similar approach today. If I buy this bar 2, I could get stuck in there. But so here's what I was expecting with bulls. Okay, right here on the encyclopedia, big gap down, 4 common outcomes, right? So you have a big bear bar. If bulls are going to bet against this, this is what they need to do. Okay, but I didn't see that one. Now, this didn't happen either, although it might. But the first bar is very strong. Now, look at this one. We didn't get the second bar. So we got a doji. So this, think of this as a doji. So the bears are still trying to sell this. They're still trying to get another leg or small 2 legs down before reversing back up. So, but 2 bars and one of them closed on its low, but it's not the combo I'm looking for. So I didn't sell it. I also didn't buy it. I'm going to wait for a pullback. Now the bulls are trying to buy this, and they're probably going, they already bought 1 tick above. Okay, so the bulls started to bet against this. Now, how far can this go? This can actually go up to 41.7625. They can close this bar, and then sellers probably there. Or sellers could be also above bar 2, but there are no 2 bear bars, so I still didn't sell. But the limit order sellers, I don't know, when 1 bar is doji, I don't like to sell above a doji that doesn't have a, body. So I didn't sell, but those who sold the close of bar 1 are disappointed now. So they might be trying to sell maybe a couple of points above the close of that bar, if they see that bar 3 is a bull close, or they're going to try to sell up here. I didn't sell. I always wait for 2 bars, 2 bear bars, and the main reason why I didn't want to sell is just too much down, and this is support here. I kind of pointed out that, I wanted to see that bears to pull this down here at least, but that the SMA, that moving average, was the support regardless, and we're bouncing there. Now, can the bulls reverse this back up? Well, they're going to have to close this bar up here, but now we have some kind of a trading range, and the sellers are probably waiting there. But if they do break out and we get another nice bull breakout, that would be 2 bar, okay? 2 bull bars, and we could continue to go up. Now, where is the average price for bears to sell? Well, if you count about 20 bars from here, now you have 4 bars, right? So count about 16 bars from here. So basically, okay, you get your range. An average price is right here, and then also the 20 EMA. So if bears are not selling here and they're not happy, and they start to see more bull bars closing on their highs, they might end up waiting. Okay, so see, these bears are trying to get out. They sold a couple of points above. Let's measure how many points. That was 7. I'd say 5 points. So 5 points, and they try to get a break even, okay, or at least get closer and sell out or trap out. So because if they assume that average price is here, okay, they may not get a chance to sell this further down. So they're still trying to sell at 2 points above, 5 points above. They haven't really, broke even yet. So they're gonna try to wait for bear bars to come and test that close of bar 1, or maybe if they entered with a stop order, they most likely did. They're going to try to break even with their first sell, and then they're going to try to make money with their second sell. Now, if your goal is to get out, break even, then you break even. Okay, stick to your goal. If you think that this is going to go up and selling up here is a much better opportunity, much logical thing to do, then you have to be committed to break even, because if this bar ends up closing bullish, you're done. as a bear. They're having a hard time even breaking even right now, but we should give the chance those bears need to get out. So expect bar 1 close to be tested, minimum, and maybe 1 tick below bar 1, that's the stop order entries, and those guys are going to break even. And if you want to learn about this, okay, you don't understand the psychology, please go to the video course 50D and E. Watch those. Those are the samples that L actually goes over an entire day of limit orders, how bears or bulls get stuck, and how do they sell again with limit orders or buy with limit orders to break even. It's a great exercise. I would recommend you to go and watch it several times. In fact, take notes and practice, then you will understand why this bar is bouncing suddenly when it gets there. Okay, so those sold with bar 1 at the close market or stop order, they broke even. So now they're looking to see, okay, we made money, we broke even with our original contract. Can we make money with our second sell to 5 points above? They're already making that money now. But in order for this to now continue down and break down, okay, bears need to close a bear bar, okay, around here or below the bar 3 with a small lower wick. That would be your low 1, okay? Why? Well, bar 2 is a low. The way that I count, bar 2 is a low. Pull back, okay? Now they're trying to sell. So that would be your low 1. That's it. Okay, so now the bears are making money. They are now breaking down. Bulls kind of lost their opportunity. Okay, this first entry long totally failed. I didn't sell there. I didn't also buy because I didn't like that doji. I didn't want to buy above it. I didn't think this was going to go too fast. I would have bought it and probably rode it all the way up here if bar 4 broke even all these bears and then bounced and closed bullish. Then I would have jumped in, okay? But I didn't see that either, so I didn't buy. Now, if I wasn't talking, I would have sold, okay? I would have grabbed my 1 point, and I would look for continuation. But now notice something that is very interesting happening here. Bar 1, beautiful bear close, but look at the continuation. Well, that's terrible. It's because bulls bet against the bears, but now where are the bulls? Where's the second bull bar? Well, the bears are betting against. So now we have a limit order in a trending, kind of a trading range in a way, okay? So now, if you're truly bearish and expecting some kind of measured move down, you have to see and anticipate bar 5 to close on its low and become a good bear continuation bar. Now, if it closes like this, as how you're seeing, that's still on its own a good continuation. Why? Now, there would be a gap, body gap. Look at that. There's a 1 tick or 2. There's a 1 tick body gap. That means bears is trying to be in charge and continue to sell. Now, why? This was always been my target right there. So, if you weren't happy with this, you could have sold at the highs and then still target that area. And that's what we're doing right now. That's why the bar 5 came down, tested that day's, okay, open, and bouncing there, okay? So, now what you do is you also adjust your range, 20 bar range, right? So you have 5 and then the 15 bars from here. Now my average price is here. If the bears fail to sell again, we could end up going right back up because we're looking for support for any kind of swing reversal or the first reversal. Okay, we're looking for some kind of support. We're looking for some kind of double bottom around what time? 10 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, so I look for those double tops and double bottoms around 10 a.m. So if I want to be a bear, I already got a 1 point, but where is the continuation? That bar was nice, but now the bulls closed that gap. So why are they closing the gap? Because they have got what they came for, right? So I said we could continue to come down there, but if it's too low, we're probably going to bounce first and look for better selling opportunity before going into that target. Just like yesterday, okay? This was always been the magnet, right, when we were coming down here. But if it's too low to sell, bears are going to look for bounce, okay, and let bulls to get their wedge, and then they're going to sell because that's a much better place to sell and finish the job. And you're seeing a micro level of that on the daily, okay? Look at that, beautiful. They came down, filled everybody, okay, right there. So job finished. I'm going to get rid of that now. Now they're bouncing. So I adjusted my 20 bar range for finding my average price. Now, my average price is not the 10 EMA. Green is the 10 EMA, blue is the 20 EMA. Okay, either the 50% of that 20 bar range or the EMA, dynamic EMA, moving averages that's trying to catch up. Okay, so I have a rather weak double bottom. I don't like that. I don't like a double bottom with bar 2. So we could end up actually go up a little bit and then come down and make a wedge bottom before we go up. Excuse me. So if this bar closes bullish, chances are we could go up a little bit more before selling again, right? This is a breakout. Bar 4 actually is a breakout bar, and this is a pullback. Bar 5 and 6 are pullbacks because bar 4 closed below bar 2 low. Okay, that is a breakout. Now, but it is a very weak breakout because the pullback is pretty strong. Now, that is actually a high 2 if you look at it from the bull's perspective. That was the high 1. Now that's the high 2. Now the bulls are looking for a little bit more continuation up. So if you bought 1 tick above, if you're a scalper, remember this is still a limit order market. If you bought 1 tick above, you're looking to make a 1 point at least. Your stop would be underneath bar 5. Last week's low on the hourly is I took the boundaries of last week, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, last week's high right there, last week's mid-level, we are way below last week's low. Okay, so you see this gap right here? We're smack in the middle of that gap. Buyers, I said buyers are there. I show that on the 5-minute chart, but it's a lot more visible. But what you're also seeing on the 1-hour chart is a head and shoulders. Okay, so we're selling the second leg down into that gap area. Buyers are present. Bears want to close this gap and come down here. So decision will be made. So I'll be watching this also. The selling is really weak. Now, in order for us to really get a good reversal to the average price, I need to see a couple of bull bars closing on their low, on their highs. Now, if this is a double bottom, okay, That's fine, but I need bull bars to start closing, and we need to go up to these trading range highs. So those buyers one tick above bar 5, okay, if you measure, they did not make a 1 point yet, but they're still trying. The bar needs to go one tick above 72, 72.25, okay? Again, if they entered at 71, 72 is their 1 point, 72.25, that will be 5 tick perfect scalp, okay? Once they scalp, they could have a runner, or they're just going to scalp and get out. Remember, S&P scalper's profit is 1 point, and you are in a kind of a limit order market here, even though this is a second entry long. So we have not even, oh yeah, we did 72.25. They got a perfect scalp right there, and that's the reason why we just came down. So everybody filled and made that 1 point. Now, those who are still in this, they're looking for a 2 point now, okay? And further continuation, and they're looking for this bar to close on its high. But you see how that perfect, it actually went to 72.50 and then now it came down, but that was a perfect scalp. Now, if you didn't scalp out, your stop is in jeopardy, right? And market, I said we could also make, I don't like this double bottom, we could end up making a wedge bottom and then try to reverse, right? So I did say that. This is also target, but bears need to close this bar on its low. Now, as much as there are bears here, there are also bulls here could be fading these lows, okay? Just like they did, they faded that low, they faded that low. Now, if this bar, okay, fails to close on its low or down here or around here, we could end up coming down here. There will be no faders yet. We could end up coming down here and then reverse back up. So bar 6 did not close good enough for me. And even though this was a second entry long, it was just a 1 point. I didn't go for that 1 point. I did not like this double bottom the way it is. I prefer the wedge bottom. And this is after 10 a.m. Look at the 10 a.m. bar. It's not a strong bull bar. So that kind of told me also, well, I've got a target here, okay? And I don't see any second good follow through bull close, even though it closed okay bullish, but all they got was a 1 point. And I think we have an opportunity to come down here. Now, can we have a measured move, which is really weak, but there could be a measured move? Can we come down here? Sure. But as soon as we breach, if we do breach the low of bar 5, buyers could be right there. I need to see a consecutive bear bars, okay? Now, if we do break this bar 5 low, then I'm going to look for a better measured move. And if we start to get 2 consecutive bear bars, we could end up getting this right here. We did not get this. So we could end up getting sell the close leg, but you still have to expect some kind of, okay, reversal, like several bars to get back up to the moving average. Okay. So terrible sell the close bear trend. And you can see that the bulls are still trying to fade those lows in order to get back up to the Globex low, right? So decision hasn't been made, but bears failed once, bears failed twice, bulls failed once, well, they kind of failed here. Now, what if this is a higher low? Can we get a better entry? Sure, we can. Now, those who bought above here and held on to their longs with the stop underneath here, which I wouldn't have done it, but if your stop is there, they're still hoping that bears who failed here, now they're going to fail again. And this is the wedge with the second leg is the overshoot. And they're going to play into this bear failure, and they're probably going to try to buy and go higher. Bulls are trying to get to at least to the 41.73, but I would wait for bar to close. We don't know yet. At the moment, both sides are weak. If we can, all right, so this is not a good bear bar, okay? There are probably buyers one tick above it. Bulls are trying to get to 72.50, okay? Their goal is to get to 72.50, but it is a bear, still it's a bear bar, right? Its low went below bar 6. There probably stop order buyers are waiting to get filled above bar 7. So they're still safely waiting there, right? This is still a limit order market. So if you're going to be a buyer, you should be sitting here and waiting, because you're also going to be looking for, are the 50% pullback buyers at the midpoint of bar 7? If they are there, because this is a limit order, okay, now buyers can show up there. And they could be still okay because they're waiting one tick above bar 7 to get filled in hopes of going up to at least to 72.50. And then furthermore up to 76.50. But I don't see buyers yet. It's keep going down to the 50% of that pin bar and keep bouncing. Now, why would you buy? Why would you think that there are buyers sitting there one tick above? Well, look what happened with the bears. Fail to sell, fail to sell. Bulls are making money. Bears are not making. They're making maybe 1 point, but the bulls are making a lot better, right? So now, limit order bulls were probably down here, there. They also bought again, and they scalped. So limit order buyers are making money even with the bear bars. So naturally, I'm thinking it's better to park a buy order there and safely wait, because if the bulls are going to come in, they're probably going to sweep me away to the upside if they decide to take over, okay? Now, I'm not in any trouble, but if I were to buy one tick above bar 5 and haven't scalped out anything, I'm in danger with my stop underneath bar 5. So, because this is a potential of making that wedge, okay, 2, 5, maybe further down, or like that, somewhere here, it could still come down. So, and that double bottom, I kept saying, I don't like this double bottom. I don't like this double bottom. You know, it's not that strong. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to go for that 1 point. I didn't really care for it, because I think there's a potential. Now, if you see this bar take out the bar 7 low, obviously you're going to cancel out your stop buy above bar 7, right? So because that means this is going to try to come down. Okay, so now we have a perfect micro double bottom higher low, but the bar hasn't closed yet. It's kind of premature to read that as a micro double bottom, but it looks like micro double bottom. Now, I think they're going to try to come down. Okay, so it breached. It's no longer a micro double bottom. It breached 1 tick. It's still trying to make a low of day. This isn't the low of day. It's trying to make a new low of day. And we're getting that wedge now and the target right there. Okay, so the bulls could not fade that. They tried to fade it, but it was terrible. You could see we're coming down to my target. But we do have a wedge now. I don't care about these targets. They're just for me I'm getting these targets from the Asia breakout because we have an Asia breakout, and that right there, 1-to-1, 2-to-1, they're trying to get the 3-to-1, and that is the 4-to-1 Asia range breakout from the Globex. So you can either use them or you don't use them. I kind of use them as a gauge and see how far we come in, and if we fail, we're probably going to go back up. So we have kind of a triple. That's a wedge to me also. Okay, on a higher time frame, I see this. I know the bulls are going to try to fade that. So now we have that wedge, and one of the pushes, 2 or 3, is a overshoot. So that's good. So the wedge is done, right? So we have a wedge formation. We have yet another bear pin bar 8. So now what? Well, I'm going to wait to see if I would not want to buy 1 tick above bar 8. It's a strong bear bar because it closed closer to its midpoint. I would not want to buy it with a stop order 1 tick above. I'm going to wait to see if there are buyers here, okay, at the 50%. Now, if there are no buyers, now there's a potential of measured move target, okay, if the bears break this down with a bear bar. Now we could end up getting more bear move to the downside if bar 9 closes below bar 8. If it doesn't, then I'm going to start thinking, okay, we do have a wedge. Buyers are probably going to try to get some kind of an inside bull bar, and buyers are going to try to prevent that bar 8 low breakage, okay? And that could give us that higher low wedge, higher low, double bottom, okay? It's still possible. I'm speculating as the bar progresses, but I'm watching where that bar is going. Is it going to go below bar 8, make a new low, or is it going to fail? Instead, it's going to close as a bull bar last second. There's still 3 minutes and 13 seconds into this bar. This bar is fresh, but I'm also watching if the bears are going to break that bar 8 low and give me a measured move opportunity to the downside. So, and on the Globex, I know the Asia is trying to get the 3-to-1, okay, risk reward target right there. So, and if they do get that, chances are we could get that measured move on the smaller time frame and continue down to right there and then bounce there instead. So I'm watching bar 8 and 9 low. Micro double bottom or higher low doesn't have to be higher low. It could be wedge and micro double bottom, and still it could reverse, right? I am watching whether or not the bar 9 is going to break below bar 8, make a new low of day, and continue to go in the same direction. If it's not, then I will have a micro double bottom, and if the bulls start to close this bar on its high, okay, then I'm going to say, okay, maybe that is the second entry long. This was the first entry long, only got a 1 point, and if I get a strong bull bar closing there, I'd rather to buy above it, but then you'd be buying in a tight trading range also. So you will go for a 1 point scalp in case it fails to go further up if bar 9 closes on its high bullish. I still do think that if bulls can get it together, we have a potential of going up to 72.50 and then 76.50, but right now we're still pushing down very poorly. Bears are not breaking out, and I guess there was no news at 7 o'clock. Let me take a look. We had nothing. All the news are like, okay, so we have a PMI tomorrow, 9:45 a.m., nothing before then 10 o'clock. Yeah, and then we have GDP on Thursday and jobless claims on Thursday. Trading goods and personal income outlay. Jerome Powell will start to speak after the consumer sentiment is released, like literally the same time on Friday at 10 o'clock. Friday is going to be epic. So plus it's going to be the last Friday, but this month goes all the way to next week. The last day of the month is going to be Wednesday next in 2 weeks, so the week after. But Friday turning out to be a very major trading day. All right, so they're still struggling to break that bar 8 low. Bulls are trying to get that micro double bottom, but I think we're going to break that. That's a really good bear pressure. But that is still a micro double bottom also. Bears are trying to break and get continuation into 59.25. They're going to try to push towards, I was just moving my exit order down to 61.50. It just feels me. They're trying to get down to, if they can close this bar bearish, that's a breakout bar. 59.25 to 58.75. But I sold it. I sold that close very quickly and grabbed a nice 2 points there. That was very good. It was a very quick scalp. And I just played into this, really. So that was just a very fast scalp. I used an ATM order. I love the close because it's a bear pressure bar 9. But they failed. If they were to close right here, we could have probably continued more. But I kept an eye on that 3-to-1, okay, level. Now, if you could also say, well, what if this is the wedge? Yeah, sure, that's the wedge. Doesn't matter. We still have a wedge here, but no bull bars to buy. So it's better to sell and scalp than, okay, than try to buy into, oh, this could be the low. Let me buy it. It may not be, okay? So, but breakouts are so weak. Can the bulls take over and go up to the bar 8 open? There is a, look what's happening here. There is a 1-tick gap open right there. Sellers could be as early as waiting right here. So I'm now waiting for this bar to close, bar 10. Sometimes you have to be quick with your scalps. If you see that you're going to get that very high probability 1 point, right? And that's what the ATM orders are for. You just select it and you go for it. And don't be ashamed of scalping up 1 point. I mean, market is testing that 1 point. There's a reason why 1 point is there. They're testing. Can they do more than 1 point? Can this continue down? I mean, look at the way the bar 9 closed. That's a bear pressure. They're breaking down now. And there's probably, okay, there was probably the limit order, which we measured it here, is still intact. And they're trying to come down to here. I removed it from my chart, but I assumed you have yours, right? And we're now making new lows. But sellers are not that strong. Now, I did say on the example earlier, I showed you this. If there is a breakdown, I'm going to look for sell the close bars. Well, sell the close, much better bar. Sell the close, another bar, continuation and breakdown. So this is what we're getting, but we're going to end up getting this. Okay, so I'm going to look for a 10 bar sideways and up eventually, but right now they're breaking down. And here is another, if they close this bar 10 like that, you got a much better measured move target. In fact, there are two. Okay, so you could say this is my conservative target, and then this is my much bigger target. But you want to see another, okay, sell the close bar stepping down like this, right? We definitely don't have this. So, so this seems like what we're having right now. So if I actually held on to this, okay, let me get rid of these. I assume you can, you're going to have them on your own chart. If I didn't, I sold this. If I didn't scalp out, I scalped out about 2 points. If I held it, I would have been coming down, making a lot more money, because I said this is the target probably, but they need to close a bear bar. This 15-minute bar needs to close below that line. Now, we could have still buyers here, so be careful, because the breakouts are not that strong, but the continuation target is 59.25 and 58.50-ish. 58.50 and 59.25. If you want to scalp here and pay yourself, you're getting very closer to the target. 59 or 59.25 or 58.50. But it can also continue further down to 56. 41.56. It can continue. You're getting now sell to close bear bars, just like I showed you. We're going to get at least 5 bars sideways to up soon, and that could give us a bear flag. But we had a trading range, trending trading range, breaking down, except we're getting really nice bear bars, but they're not that strong. But still, it's nice, steady sell to close. So the sell to close will go sideways possibly and then get another leg down. So that could bring us to the Asia breakout 4-to-1 risk reward, which is right down here. Okay, so we met my target. I did say 59.25. And if you don't believe me, look, 59.25, I said get ready to take profit. It could continue down to 58.75.50 area. It probably will. But if you have taken profit earlier, good job. The bar hasn't closed yet, so we don't know that whether or not it's not going to go to 59.50 or 58.50 or 58.75. If it closes on its low, it's going to go there. 58.50 should be okay. We should test it. It should not be a problem. I say that. Comes to the 58.75 and bounces. Let me come on. No, it's gonna test it. So just don't be scared. It'll test the 58.50. Might even test one tick below. You should be able to scalp there. All right, target met. It did test 58.50. Can it continue down to 55.75 or 56? Yeah, I mean, they just need to close this bar on its low. In fact, this is where we're going. And that's where I'm reading. So 56 is your next target, but it'll bounce. 56 and 55. I think that's a little bit below the 55, but yeah. I would take profit there because it's going to bounce. Now, what's happening with this? Well, I haven't adjusted, so I'm going to adjust it, right? So now I have 11 bars from this session and then 10 bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So this is the range, okay, still. And average price now moved down here. So we're going to go back up to that for sure. Now, this is no longer my average price. The EMA is my average price, okay? We're still making new lows. Good job for the bears, But look at bar 11. Bar 11, what does it look like to you? Yes, some might say, well, that's a breakout bar. It's probably going to continue down. No, it's actually probably an exhaustion bar. Look at the bars before then. Look at the trend and look at the last bar well at the end of that trend. It's probably going to get continuation a little bit, but we might start to get that, okay, 5 to 10 bars sideways before coming down yet again. We are gap down. We're also gapping down from the EMA. Okay, you needed to take profit at 56 area if you didn't want to get stuck in this sudden reversal. Okay, so the average price is the EMA right there. Yep, exhaustion, exactly. And exhaustion bars can be big and very enticing, but you gotta find a way to identify them. Now, I'm waiting for this bar to close. These bears are taking profit. Can this continue down? It can continue down a little bit before going back up, but I think we're going to end up going sideways and up a little bit. Or this is just going to be another, maybe a bear flag here, and we will continue to come down, maybe another leg. It is a big bar, bar 11. It's a good breakout bar. What you're getting with bar 12 is breakout pullback. Now, can there be any sellers above bar 12? As it closes higher and higher, I get a little bit nervous selling that bar above, one tick above. I mean, there will be a lot of disappointed bears here with bar 11 closed. They might have sold it. Or you can see that the stop order sellers underneath bar 11 got trapped. Look at the trap right there. So they know that, okay, we're disappointed here. We need to sell. Where do we sell? Well, if you actually measure from the close, 2 points, they probably already sold, but the ATR is 6.5. So maybe selling at the 5 point is a better idea. So there might be probably some sellers hoping the same situation that we had here, selling and wanting to break even. Okay, so now you're going to see possibly bar 12 forming an upper wick like that. Now, if you wonder why that is happening suddenly, it's because those who sold the close with market order or one tick below with a stop order on the bar 11 are in hopes of trying to break even, selling 2 or 5 point above. On the, I do use the Asia level. I know it's not Elberg's trading, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit more information. We do use the Globex session, 15-minute chart, but I'm so, I like to measure things, okay, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm trying not to confuse you guys, and that's, my goal is not to confuse you. So I'm keeping these levels because there's a reason why the price is going there. And I think a visual representation would be good. So that's why I'm keeping it. You don't have to use it. You could just simply remove it from your own chart. But I like these levels because I know how price behaves around them. Okay. So I kind of keep it together on this part of the monitor along with the higher time frames. So, but on the 5 minute is what I trade. Yeah, that is basically what I'm doing there. I'm using the Fibonacci measurement tool. If this is 1-to-1, that's 1.5. That's 2. So this is 6180. Okay, so that's 1-to-1. That's 150 minus 150. That's minus 200, 250. So in between, okay, 50%. That you can pay yourself scalp a little if you have a runner into the actual target, round target. So those grayed out faint mid levels are actually, if it's a 200, 250, 300, 350, so on so. All right, so now You can see they sold around 5 point right there. So did they get out? Well, they came super, look at that. They did get out. So those who actually sold the close of bar 11 were able to break even. Okay. So when you see something like this, so you know why these bars form the way they form. There's a whole reasoning behind it. So, all right. The biggest part of the trading is understanding the story. It's like I look at the whole chart as like another episode of Game of Thrones, and there's a whole storyline there. But once you learn the plots, you kind of figure out what will happen way ahead of time. All right. So if those disappointed bears are getting out in an orderly fashion after breaking even or trapping out, and if we get bar 13 closing on its side, that would make a 2 bar. So I'm expecting at least 5 bars going sideways and up, okay, if not more. Can we get 10 bars and 2 legs, or more than 10 bars but 2 legs? Yes, we can. So all depending on if we can get a good bull close here. And filling that upper wick of bar 12 could show us a bullish pressure that the bulls might be trying to print on the market. But if you don't see it, that means there's no bullish pressure. So everybody is looking at bar 13 and how it is going to close. Bulls need a good second consecutive bull bar. Bar 12 did not close on its mid. It's a very weak bar, okay, because the selling was very heavy by the panicked, trapped bulls, okay. So plus they did not make money with their second entry here, so they're kind of disappointed there as well. But if they do see this bar 13 close on its high, those bears are going to exit out very fast, and we could get a 3rd bar and a 4th bar, pull back, and then continue to go up. So the fight that is happening here is that those bears sold with a second contract. They want to make money. So that means this bar 13 needs to go 1 tick below where they entered with a stop order in order to complete the job, so they could say, hey, we made a 1 tick. That was good. We did not lose any money there. Now, for the wedge, you could say, well, here is 1 pullback, 2 pullback, 3. We do have bar 12 is not an inside bar, and it's not a good bull bar. Okay, so this could be simply a implied flag, okay, bear flag. And I'm still waiting for the bears to make money with their second entry, second sell, the limit order. They have not made money, and that's what they're trying to do with bar 13. And if they do, and suddenly we test it and then go back up, that would be a trap. But there's nothing right now. Okay, so we did go 1 tick below. You see how they made money? Okay, so the bears are still making money. Even with the limit order sell, they're making money. They're making money with the stop orders. They're making money with the sell to close. They're making money with the limit orders. So who's in charge of the market? Bears are in charge of the market. If they do close a bar on the Globex in 10 minutes, I mean, we could get down here in 10 minutes. That would be the 421. Okay. Asia. Sitting right there. So this is where the bears are trying to come down to get that 421. But, when they close when they close a bear bar way below the 3-to-1, if there's still bulls out here, they're most likely to get out because market has a better chance of going to the 421. But that's what those levels are. You do not have to have this. You do not have to have this. I just have it as a visual confirmation. Okay. Buyers are down here. I marked this chart way ahead of time. Like I spent my whole weekend charting this because I want to see where the bulls and the bears are ahead of time on the Globex chart. You don't have to. It's right here in front of you on the 60 minutes. So I serve it to you in any way I can. It's right there. Everything's in front of you. So on the weekly, bears needed this week to be bearish. And I said earlier, the pre-market, if they're going to sell, they have to keep selling. Now, this right here is the 200-day moving average is a good support, I said. And possibly we could sell there. 41, 36, 35 area. So this needs to be a bear flag. So we did not get any kind of secondary bull bar there. This moves down further. Moving average is catching up. Okay. Now, the original measured move target met. See why we bounced there? 53.50. I removed it, but I had it on my other chart that I'm opening my trades. That's where you needed to take profit if you haven't done so. And that's they're taking profit right now. So now we're going sideways and possibly up a little bit. Can this be a bear flag though? It could still be a bear flag if bulls cannot close a bull body above bar 12 high. Okay. Now, there's also another wedge here. So this area is holding, like I said. We're probably going to come down there, but I need a bear bar closing below that level in order to get down to here. So that could end up being a 5 bars going sideways and up before selling again. Can bears sell this again? Yes, they can. But if it's too low, they're going to need a pullback, okay? And we might end up getting another bear flag down. So I'm going to wait for these profit takers to take profit. Now, as far as buyers, right, so can there be any buyers above there? Well, there's a tight trading range there. This is a limit order. Most likely there are sellers there, okay? They're going to try to sell. And if it does come down, I'm going to look for a second entry long, okay? So let's see how this bar closes. As it gets closer to the top of that tight trading range, sellers are probably there, maybe there. Limit order sellers I'm talking about. Now for, I want to show something to you guys. So let me go to here and let me go to 4-hour chart. We have actually even larger bear targets. You see this right here? We're breaking down. You see that? Head and shoulders. So what I'm actually seeing here is, let's see. One, maybe, let's see. I'm trying to find a target for you guys. We're trying to come down to here, literally. So it is, let me take that and that. Or we already met that target, so see how that doesn't work. Just add a little bit more. Okay, so get rid of that. That we already met. I see a wedge, but it's a complex wedge. Okay, so I'm trying to find targets. This is a good target right there, but I think this one is. So it's 1 to 2. That's better. Okay, I found it. Can this come all the way down here? I think it's a little early. There's a much better nested wedges here. So the exercise that I'm doing here is basically finding wedges and a bunch of nested wedges, and I'm trying to see where the price can pull down. So I think eventually we will come down here, but it's too early. So the one that I found earlier, we already reached that target. So we're there. So we're probably going to bounce here. Now, why? Look at this, leg 1, leg 2, and leg 3, buying, this impulsive buying with a structural breakout. Those of you use the ETA chart, trying to show you, okay, this area is a buy zone. We're still trying to reach here. If we do sell, if we do break this line, okay, we could continue to come in here, but the buyers are sitting here very strong. So I'm not worried about this trend line. This is where I want to see bears continue to sell into. That's what I said. We could go down to 41.35 area maybe, and that's around here, and then find buyers there. That's the one that I would be interested. But right now we're at this level, so I still want to see bears continue to sell this. So, but on the 5-minute, I'm going to trade this, obviously. On the 5-minute, I'm looking for that 5 bars, okay, or 10 bars and 2 legs, some kind of pullback. So now what happened here? There were sellers there. They sold a little bit, right? So I warned you about that. They probably made money there. But this bar hasn't closed yet. Now, there also, I said, sellers could be right there. 2 bars, one of them is really strongly bearish. Limit order sellers are waiting there. So I said they're probably waiting there. They're waiting here. They're looking to sell. But how bar closes is important. They're going to try to get that 1-point scalp. And if this bar 15, okay, does not close bearish, they're going to exit out, because then they're going to assume that this is going to go up now. But I'm looking for, okay, to see if this is going to close bearish and we get another push down, or at least maybe make a double bottom or some kind of higher low before we going up. And I said earlier, I would not buy above this bar. I mean, they may have made money. This is where I would have entered if I wanted to buy with a stop order. Bar 14 high would have been. But because it's a tight limit order market, I see sellers and a earlier bear trend. I didn't see value buying above 14. But if you were shooting for 1 point, you would have easily made that point, okay, with stop underneath bar 13. I just didn't care for it. Plus, I was explaining, so there was no time for me to react. Now, I'm going to wait to see what the bears are going to do here. If we do come down, I mean, they have to sell here. If they cannot sell, bulls are trying to break out from the 60.25 area, 60.25, and then go up to 62, maybe even further up. But I'm just not going to buy this because it's not consecutive bull bars. The breakout, look at that, buyers, 1 tick above 14, struggle there, and that bar closed bearish. But it's not strongly bearish. So could this be that higher low I was talking about? It's possible. 1, 2, 3 bars. So we might get 2 more bars up or sideways before coming down. It's not a strong reversal, but can this become a small pullback bull trend? I don't have 2 bars yet. 2, consecutive bull bars. I would have want to see that first. So we have a bull bar and a bear bar and a bull bar. And the 20 EMA is coming closer. We could end up going up, but I think we're going to try to sell one more time. So I'm not really interested in buying yet. I think it's just too early. And the reason why is the weekly chart. I mean, we're only we're only about 20, 23, 24 points away from a major magnet, okay? But it's too low to sell as well. So you have to also think, okay, why is this then going up? It's because bears might be looking for a good place to sell the pullback. But I warned you about getting at least a 5 bars sideways to up, and that's what we're getting right now. I'm just not interested in buying, you know, and expecting a big swing up because of bar 15. That kind of bummed me. So if there are any sellers here, they have to show up now. If there are no sellers here, we could go up a little bit more. If there are no sellers here, we could go up a little bit more. I said we're probably going to test 62. We just tested. If we do close a bull bar above 62, then we're going to continue to go up to 64.50, maybe even 65. But I need to see this bar 16 close on its high above 41.62. If they do close at 41.62 and above, then we have a potential of going to 64.50 to 65. So sellers are waiting there at 65 and 66 area, or they're going to fail and this is going to come down right now, like before even closing above 62. And that's why I didn't want to buy it. I'm just waiting to see where this bar is going to close. If bar 15 was a bull bar, that would have been a whole different bull game. I would have entered and gone long. We are still far below the average price. Now, can this be a couple of hours of small pullback bull trend, you know, going up to these levels yet again? I'm going to get rid of this. I'm no longer interested in this, okay, because this is the average price. Now, pullbacks are small, as you can see, so there's that possibility. And I'm also waiting for bar 18, possible reversal or continuation in the direction of the small reversal we have. But look what we got here. I said we could get that 5 bars, 6 bars, whatever, and then get that bear flag that I'm more interested in. So we do have a micro double top with 15 and 16. And that's another reason why I didn't want to buy. Again, and if we do close below the midpoint of bar 14 with a bear bar, chances are we are going to get that bear flag. And we could end up coming down to 51.50 or even 48.50 very quickly with bear bars. Bulls want a higher low double bottom and major trend reversal and continue to go up to the average price. So they're going to try to prevent that. But look what's happening here, right? We're making a new low. If that bar 17 closes bearish, that's basically a sell signal, right? But I'm just waiting for the bar to close So if you bought this, you needed to take profits at 62. Like I said, I kind of saw that was going to come down. It's a bear flag, micro double top. So goal is to break below the bar 13 low and continue to sell into close a bar below 55.50, close a bar below 41.53, and continue to sell into targets 51.50, 48.50, maybe even 41.46 for bears. Where did you see look and identify the sellers at 41.65? 41.65. Oh no, that was I said if the bulls still continue to go up, you know, I would have expected. I said if they close the bar above 41.62, then I would have expected for them to continue into buying into 41.65. I said we never even tested that because we could not close a bull bar above 41.62. 41.62 for these buyers here was my bull target. I said if you bought this, you needed to take profit there because I saw bears, limit order sellers selling there. So I hope that helps. So basically, I'm going to go back to my chart again. This is the third time I am showing this. So hopefully you're paying attention. This is where we are right now. Okay, we got this. And if we do break that, we get 2 legs down. Okay. Now, on this chart, there's a slight gap to the EMA. We have a huge gap. We will eventually go back and test that EMA. Okay. Bulls might be looking for some kind of double bottom, failure to break down. I'm looking at this as a possible bear flag because I do think the buyers are waiting here and we could continue to sell into that moving average, 200-day moving average before we go back up. But the selling is not that strong. 200-day moving average before we go back up. But the selling is not that strong. It's steady, it's good, you know, but it's just not that strong. So we will reverse eventually. All right, so the bar bar 17 is a good bear bar closing. Now, they need a continuation bear bar, so the 18 needs to close bearish and break out and take out the bar 13 low in order to continue to sell. If you're selling, you may want to pay yourself around 53 or 52.50 area, at least scalp. Even if this can go down to 51.50. Okay, 52.50 was my target, but 51.50 is the actual target. So I sold a, I said this is a good bar and I'm expecting some kind of bear flag. I sold a close of that bar, filled, and then I expected a little bit more down because this is a expanding triangle. It's a bear flag, okay? So I'm expecting yeah, you can take that, I'll take that. Somewhere here, maybe test. It's 51.50. I mean, these bears really failed here. It was my target. It's still my target. They just, if they do test that, they can continue to come down to 48.50 also. 48.50 is right around here. So we could test that. And that would give us a bigger wedge formation also. So I want to see this bar close one tick below 53, 52.75 minimum. They need to close this bar. Further down is better in order to continue. So if you're still holding on to make money at 51.50, that's okay. We will hit that. But I would love to see this bar close. There's still 1 minute and 37 seconds. We should be able to get that 51.50 if you're still sitting there and waiting and didn't get filled. But bears need to close this body minimum one tick below bar 13 low. That is 52.75, 52.75. That's where that came from. And when they do that, they will take out 51.50 in a heartbeat, and then they might continue down to 48.50. There comes the early target. And we already tested, I think. I don't know, did we? No, 51.50 we already tested, but that was a first touch. Many didn't get filled, so they're waiting for a second test to get filled. It was a very quick test, and but as long as the spark closes like this, it's probably going to continue down. In fact, the 4-to-1 Asia is right here. I think that's the 4-to-1, but let me 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's the 4-to-1. This is where we're probably going to test. All right, so the second touch, everybody got filled because it moved one tick below my target. So everybody got filled at my original target, 51.50. So hopefully you made some money there. Now, this has a potential of going down to 48.50, 49.50, 48.50, or 48.75 if you are worried about not getting filled. Can we continue, please? It's pulling back a little bit because it's a breakout bar, bar 18. So if we do get bar 19 bear bar, then we continue down to the 48.50, 48.75. I like to see a little bit more continuation. Maybe 47, 41, 47 even is doable, but can it reverse back up? A really nice 2-bar. One of them is bar 18. It's a breakout pullback at the moment. But if this bar closes bullish, bar 19, it would be a failed breakout. But I doubt it. I think we're just pulling back up to see if we can find sellers here. But more it closes on its high, it would make me nervous for continuation to fail. So there is still 3 minutes here. A lot can happen. The last half of the, last minute, we could continue to come down. But many bears took profit here where I said you needed to take profit. Yeah, that bar is now trying to reverse, which is a bummer. Oh well. Well, I hope you guys took profit there. Just gonna wait a little bit. I want to see more continuation down. That's still the target, and so bulls are trying to put a 18-bar reversal here. Well, let's see how this bar closes. And that bar closed very bullish, so buyers are trying to buy above it, and some limit order sellers are trying to sell. if they have sold the bar 18 one tick below, they're stuck again. So they're trying to break even by selling with a limit order. But that bar is very big. So if this bar cannot continue to come down, those buyers one tick above, waiting to get filled so they can continue to go up to the bar 16 high. We do have a wedge, so 1, 2, and 3. Bulls need possibly a pullback, higher low for trend reversal. Now, if you put a line here, okay, bulls trying to break above that, but there could be sellers. So the goal is to at least get to now with this buy one tick above this bar, at least get to the 41, let me see, 41, 60, or 61 area. Now, there's still limit order sellers here. There might even be right here because there's a trading range here, okay? So there, and also this trend line, still limit order sellers here. There might even be right here because there's a trading range here, okay? So there, and also this trend line, but bulls are trying to reverse this now. They might wait for a pullback and a higher low. That trend line is holding at the moment, but bears really need to like sell hard here and really close that body down here to eliminate this bar 19, because market is trying to reverse. The only thing that is going against them is this trend line. Remember, if you mark this, okay, you don't want to see bears breaking here, because if they do break it, okay, we could get more continuation to downside. Bulls want to test here, stay at the 50% and go right back up and close bull bars above that line. And if they do that, then they're going to continue to go up. Gap is still open to the EMA, quite a distance too, and this is the bar 20. We know sellers are waiting there, so they will be selling at the EMA. By the time we get there, we have a 20 bar gap. But here's the thing, if bears want to continue to sell this, okay, into the close, they may not get near to the EMA or touch it, okay, for at least maybe another hour. So we could keep going down and down. Finally, somewhere around maybe 2 o'clock, we could reverse. But okay, so what just happened here? So now that I'm looking at here, so the bears couldn't close a bear bar. Okay, so they're panicking now, and they might be getting out of their shorts. And then if they do that, and if we close above this trend line, we're probably going to go back up here. But I'm just watching right now. So bar 20 is a bull close. We close literally one tick above bar 19. It's not that bullish, but we did not close above the trend line. So trend line, I don't know, I'm watching right here, watching to see what the bulls are going to do here. They need to close a bull bar above the trend line and then probably come back and retest and go. I don't see it yet, even though bar 20 is a bull bar, but it's still a rejection from the trend line. We have not tested the bull bars 50% yet. I like to see bears test that. They're testing the midline. Is it good enough for the bears who got stuck with bar 18? Probably not. They still want to see bears come down and test here. Limit order sellers, you can see they sold. So they're still in hopes of trying to break even. See, they sold. So they're still in hopes of trying to break even. But we did test a little bit below the mid. I'm waiting for this bar to close. But this could be that lower high, I'm sorry, higher low that I've been looking for. So could this be that lower high? This is what I'm interested in. If the bulls start to close bull bars above it, we're going to go up. Okay? So that's what I was looking for. That's the last wedge bar, okay, with a 1 tick lower. And I generally look at the range of that and see where the bars are closing, the 50%, the low. You do not want to see wedge failure and a continuation sell if you're looking for reversal. You want to see bars pulling back to that 50% of its range, the last bar that makes up that third push down. And then you want to see a bull close and then continue to go up. See where they close that bar, 21? So now they're trying to go up. So now we might get that small pullback bull trend or 10 bars, 2 legs to the EMA. But there's a trading range here, so be careful. Right around here, sellers might be waiting. Right, that yellow zone. There are probably sellers waiting there. That was a limit order buy at the 50% of 19, bar 19 like I marked it. So you should not have sold. Unless you sold here, you had a good chance of scalping, but that's all you had. Because the reason why there will be sellers there is because of the stock sellers right here. So they try to break even. They couldn't make money with their original entry, but they did break even. So that's their break even right there, because think about it. So let me get rid of this. If you actually sold here and then you sold right there, where are you going to break even? Right at the 50%, right? So that's why I also said this is also a wedge, and that is the last bar that made up the last wedge leg. Mark the high and mark the low and mark the 50%. And I said there are probably buyers waiting there. So if you actually bought into that, you would have made with a limit order, say you bought, now I'm going to measure that bar, 50%. So if you actually put a buy order right there, you would have made 6 point and extra tick to cover your commissions. And that's what I did. So I said buyers are probably there waiting. And you could have also bought the close of the bar or 1 tick above. And around this or that 2 bar bear bars and open or somewhere around here is target. But you're scalping at this point because you're in a trading range. And I said, if you do buy it, this is the trading range highs. Sellers are waiting there. So you could take 1 or 2 point scalp and then leave a runner, see where it goes. I mean, the target is a 20 EMA, but first we need to break this. By the time we get here, sellers could be there still. So we're still pushing towards, let me see, 61.75 or 62 area still. If we do close above 62, we could get to possibly to 67, 41.67. But sellers are probably waiting there also. I don't know why different brokers, I don't know who your broker is, and I don't know why they show different bars. It's a different kind of data. They could be filtering the data when they're serving you. So I don't know. That's I see your chart there. Let me see. I mean, I have the same doji. You and I have the same, or is that my chart? No, I think that's my chart. Oh, I see your chart is below. Yeah, I mean, you can ask your broker that, but my whole thinking is, where are the limit order sellers? Okay, if you sold here, you're stuck. Okay, you need to sell above things. I like to sell above, bear bars. So, but they will sell above a qualifying bull bar there. So the sellers were there, or 5 points above, 2 points above. So if you measure it, 5 points right there, sellers were there. They're going to put a bunch of sell orders, and then it's going to come down. So the same thing, right? So the 5 point sellers were there, it came down. Or even, let's see, so I wouldn't go for 10 points. So 2 point to 5 point machines are going to sell to break even. So your dojis are basically where the limit order sellers showed up. So look at the first circle, okay, on your chart. The first circle on the left. Now look left, what do you see? There's a bear bar there. You see that bear bar? I don't see bar numbers there. But where your circles go back 2 bars, that bear bar highs, that's where the sellers are. So that's why you ended up getting that doji. Or they sold, you see that, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4th bar to the left, that big bear bar. At the open of that bear bar, there were sellers. So that's why you ended up getting that doji. But it closed as bull doji, so that, you're not getting any bear bar. So that means those who are selling with limit order, they're just scalping 1 point, 2 point, and they're getting out. But you're getting a follow through with a bull close. So I don't know why I'm getting that bar, bear close. I mean, it's just 2 different brokers. I can't really speak on behalf of brokers, right? So I'm getting what I'm getting, but the way that I'm reading is, I know there are limit order sellers selling, limit order sellers selling, but they're not able to close strong bear bars, right? So now this was a micro double top bear flag, so it sold. They got the bear flag, expanding triangle, but the breakout weakened so much so with this reversal bar, which happens to be an outside up bar. So they bought the close, and those who are stuck, they try to sell again, but all they could get was the 50% of that bar that made the last wedge, because it's got 1 tick below the low of 18. So the wedge would be this, and that, and a higher low. Now bulls are trying to get a major trend reversal. They're trying to get 10 bars and 2 legs up to the EMA. But like I said, if you're buying, you have to scalp out at the top of this trading range. I marked it somewhere in that yellow zone. Sellers are waiting, and they're trying to sell, as you can see. Or these bulls know, the smart bulls know that this is the top of the trading range. There are probably sellers there, so let's take profit before we get stuck. And if they see bars continuing and demolishes that resistance, they're going to continue to go up here. So now you understand why I put that there. So the first entry for bulls was to buy above bar 19. Second entry, look how bar 21 lows breached the bar 20, right? So that is a pullback in the bull leg that started with bar 19. So that's a pullback. You can buy that. You can buy underneath 20 with a limit order. You can buy the close, or you can buy 1 tick above. If you buy there, you know this is resistance. You need to take profit somewhere there. So bulls are not out of the woods yet, but you can see this is now a small pullback bull trend. Now I'm watching the pullbacks. The first pullback was a bull bar, 21. Now the second pullback is a bear bar. It breached the low of that bar 23 doji. If you're expecting some kind of bear reversal here, behold, because bar 23 weakens the reversal strength for bears. Anytime you get a doji and a bear bar closes on its low, chances are you're not going to go too far, because anytime there's a doji, you should not be expecting a big, major bear breakdown. So I'm looking for a bear weakness here, and I'm waiting for bar 24 to close. Now there will be some sellers here, but it's a doji, so it's got no body. I don't know what it is. I am just not gonna sell that. There are probably more buyers down here than sellers, okay? So selling that would be a bad decision. At least you have to wait for bar to close, bar 24, because this can get a continuation to the EMA. So this is the first bear pullback. The bar hasn't closed. It's also failure to break out. Now, can bears actually sell this and come all the way down here? Well, they're going to have to show me some sell to close bear bars and taking out these lows once again, right? So there's no breakout. This is just a leg in a trading range. Again, I said this is a trading range. This is a leg in a trading range. But I also want to show you guys something else. Now, what we'll see there is a possible inverse head and shoulders. We have equal higher lows, okay, it's equal. So what they're looking for is a bull bar closing on its high after this, maybe high one setup, right? So after this high, but that won't be high one because this is the high one, that's high two. They're looking for high three, okay, if you count that way. Now, if bears do sell this, you do not want to see this area breached. You want to see another higher low, higher than that higher low, okay, and breach of that high and the bear bar stacking, but the sellers are still waiting here. So I'm looking for basically a second leg up. And in order for this to become a head and shoulder, inverse head and shoulders, this can dip down here, but you do not want this to be broken. If they do break this, then we're going to continue to come down in this channel with a midline. We're going to come down, probably go again, and then we might even break down once again. So, but I cannot sell this. This is what it looks like, a small pullback bull trend. Pullbacks are 1 or 2 bars, very small bodies, okay. There are probably buyers underneath them, like buyers underneath bar 23, because you got bar 21 and 22 bull closes, and both of them closing on their highs. So there's a fight here. Bulls are trying to close this pullback bar 24, smallest bear body possible. Now, if they do close it strongly bearish, and the next bar also opens bear and then sells it, this is where the bears are trying to come down to. And if they do break this, that means we're going to test the low of bar 19, and if we make a new low of day, which it's possible, we can continue to come down to the target 41.4650. But 24 is the first decent bear pullback, and if it doesn't get continuation, we will continue to go up with a second. That will be actually the third leg up. So I am waiting to see what will happen here. Bears want to make new lows. So they want to go down and test that area that I marked. Now, where are the buyers? Well, they're probably there, waiting. Limit order buyers. Everybody's watching bar 25 and how it's going to close. Everybody wants a high 3. This is high 1, pull back, high 2, pull back. They're looking for high 3. So the EMA is target. There are probably sellers waiting there. Bears are going to try to prevent bulls from tagging the EMA, but we are so close, we should be able to tag it. There you go. That's your high 3. And it's also an outside up bar if it closes like that. Bears want still a double top, but I think they're losing their chance here. They got trapped here, so bulls are going to try to push this hard. Now, I need a bar closing above, again, 62, 41, 62. If we get a bull bar close, we're probably going to try to get to the EMA. Bears want to have a double top again, but they lost their chance here. If this bar closes like this, 25, I cannot emphasize this anymore. We're gonna try to make a run for it above this doji and go up to around here. Okay. Sometimes we get a failure to tag the EMA and then we reverse back down. But if they're seeing an inverse head and shoulders with another higher low, that's a good sign for bulls. They just need to break above this, okay, resistance. Sellers are waiting right there. That's the 20 bar gap to the EMA. First touch could sell or above the EMA, at or above the EMA. It could make a micro double top and sell. Or it could be just a one touch and sell. So I want to see bulls close a body above 62, 41, 62. If they do that in 44 seconds, we are on our way to 44 and 45. If they can do it. I need that 62 close. So 25, 24 more seconds. That's an outside up bar. It's also the second leg up in a trading range. But again, that area needs to be broken with a bull bar. Okay? We need to break above it and close that bar right there. 62, 62, 50. Okay, where did we close? Oh, it's very close, and it's a really good bar. It's an outside up bar, so they're probably buy to close bulls wanting to get to my target, 63.75 to 65 area. So I am long. I'm looking for a quick reach to my targets before failing, or the tag of the EMA. That's also the 65, so that would put me in the right place. I measured and said that it's 64.75 or 65, and then I just looked at the RTA chart, and it's the EMA is right there at the 65. So if you want to take profit at 64.75, one tick below the EMA touch, be my guest, so you don't have to scramble. Or you're expecting for bars to get above, that's fine. It's probably going to move above the EMA, but chances are EMA is going to reject the price. So I am still in my long, and just waiting to meet the target. So I am sitting at 64.50. I don't want to scramble, so I'm okay to give in for extra 2 ticks. Market can have it. I just want to get paid faster. It's getting there, and 65, I'm pretty sure there or a little bit above. Sellers might be waiting, so I just want to take my money and think about it later what to do if bulls start to close bull bars above it, because this is a small pullback bull trend now, and we could continue to go up, but my job is to get paid first so I can pay for my lunch. And I am sitting at 64.50. I want to scalp it. It just gets there and then teasing me. It needs to close that body above this breakout point and then just reach out and hand me my money bag. But of course, it's struggling. But I did say that bears' entire goal is to prevent this, okay, EMA test. Because as long as they keep that EMA gap open, market is still bearish, okay? They could bring it down all the way down here once again. Breakout is failing yet again. This is terrible. But I have seen this happen, and that's why I said when this was happening, I have to warn you always. I did warn you earlier. It's going to struggle as it gets closer to the EMA, because goal is to keep that EMA, okay, open for bears to continue to sell until 2 o'clock, I said. But we are so close, we should be able to test that. But now that is failing. 15-minute chart needs to close a bull body above this red line, okay, in order to go further up to this area, at least halfway up to the VWAP. But let's just wait. There's still 39 seconds. This bar can close bullish above its midpoint. That could still get continuation. Last second, bulls need to close that body above its midpoint, possibly 1 tick above the outside up bar 25's high in order to continue to go up to the EMA. But the breakout is failing. So they got only 7 seconds to finish the job. Okay, so bulls did the minimum they could do to get continuation. Remember, this is a small pullback bull trend. So that's terrible though. Bar 26, it's terrible for bears because it's a continuation for bulls. It's the minimum bulls can do. So I think the target is still the EMA 64.50, my original target. I'm still in it to win it. Or 65. We could test 65 possibly, or we're just going to fail 1 tick under the 65. So 64.50 and 64.75 is still the target. I am going to get that money back one way or the other. I waited for this, and I did not panic. I did not get out of my long when I saw the bar 26 close like that, because I'm getting that money. Pay me now. I got filled. All right, everybody, I had to do this because I just got paid. All right, excellent. I just got literally paid, and look where I got paid. 64.50, holy cow. I mean, can this be any more accurate? I warned you, it might go to 64.75, but I said 64.50. So I got what I got. I have seen this happen so many times. I have seen this like repeatedly happen. So I don't sit there anymore and cry about, oh my God, it didn't hit my one take. They're watching me. No one's watching you. This is what happens all the time. It probably will test it, but by the time this comes down, watch this. By the time, if this bar closes here without touching that, as soon as this bar closes, that EMA is going to touch the high of that bar. And then you're going to say, wait a minute, how did that happen? When did we test the EMA? Well, that's what happens. But we will test that 65. We're almost there, so just don't get panicked. All right, that's it, EMA tested. So good job, everybody. Everybody got 64.75, 64.50. We didn't really test 65 fully, but I did say it could fail one tick below 65. So yeah, let's swim. We got money. All right, sorry, I had to have a little fun there, but I've been talking 3 hours straight. You got to give me my fun time. I have to play. All right, okay. So hopefully you guys, you know, have taken profit there. It can still continue to go up. In fact, I think it's trying to go up to 66.50. And it's probably going to try, but at this point I am flat. It could still test further up, but I would not play with it. It still tests further up, but I would not play with it. Okay, so it's 2 minutes before 11:45. You know what that means, right? All right, so now let's take a look at some things here. So I want to pull that chart real quickly once again. Okay, so this time bears actually kept that gap open and they continue to sell several hours. Now, we're selling the first touch to EMA, but we are in a small pullback bull trend. So this could be us also right here. Okay, so we're testing the EMA. We're going to come down, and if you didn't sell the EMA, this is the second time I'm showing you guys. Friday this happened. I think it happened before, but I always say, you know, if you do put a sell order right there, it's probably going to, you know, it will give you several points, at least what the ATR is. So if you actually sold right there, price came down, that's 275. So, well, it hasn't really made 4 points, but, you know, half the ATR is 2 points. That gave you a lot more than that. So now mark that 4 points and see if it's going to give you a 4-point run because the ATR is 4 points. So, or 3 points and 75. Here, I'll mark it. That's 350 and 4 is right there. So ATR came down, so you have to adjust it. That's 325. Yeah, so 325 right there. That would have been a good scalp, but I was talking, so I did not sell. But normally, if I'm not talking, I have always a sell order waiting there with a couple of contracts, and then I grab a couple of $100 like very quickly, which is great. You want those little money bags sitting on the side of the road with your name on it. Anyway, so if you have any questions, please post. So we're in a small pullback bull trend here. Going to get rid of that now. Right, so I'm looking for a wedge now, okay? So bears didn't really sell much, and we had a nice wedge and a higher low. So now you have 1 pullback, 2 pullback. We have the 3rd pullback. So that means we have wedge top right here. But I don't have a good sell signal bar, right? So the limit order sellers were waiting at the EMA. They already scalped out at the 325, 350. I explained to you how they did that. Now, it could push 4 times. I mean, wedges, they don't need to be just 3 pushes. It could be 4 push and then come down, right? So I don't have a good sell signal bar, so I'm just not going to sell anything at this point. I'm going to wait for a bear bar close, right? So they could be fading these highs still, or this is still a small pullback bull trend, every pullback underneath, we have buyers limit order. They already bought underneath that bar. It might pull down here. There might be buyers there also, but the doji is not a good buy. So I would probably not buy underneath bar 26. They are fading the highs still. In order to continue to go up, the 15-minute chart needs to print a bull body above that line that I talked about. Okay, so this is possibly bears are seeing a bear flag, double top bear flag. I like to see a lower high to swing it down. So do I want to be a bear here again? Sure, why not? We can be a bear again. But you need a good bear bar close, okay? And that would be your first entry short, and you would look for a second entry short. Or you could say, well, what if this was my first entry? Okay, and if it's your first entry, then you need to see a good bear close. That will be your second entry short. But it could be also for bulls. Again, I have to read the both side of the price action. This is still, if bulls are still seeing this as a inverse head and shoulders, they're going to look for failures, okay? And then they're seeing basically a small rounded bottom, okay, with pullback, cup and handle, and they're looking to see, is this the pullback part of the handle? And if also this is a small pullback bull trend, and if this pullback does not get any continuation, and we end up getting another bull bar, and that would become the high 4, and they could buy yet again. So I am flat. I did not sell this. I would have sold it if I wasn't talking and would have made money. Bears are looking to eliminate this, okay, inverse head and shoulders by testing this area and closing below it. So for that, they need strong bear bar closes. Okay, so bar 27 is not a good sell signal bar. It was a legit limit order sell, but it's just not a good sell signal bar. And okay, so bar 28 is yet another bad sell. But it is a sell. Its body closed poorly. It didn't even close below its mid-level, but it closed somewhere in the middle. It did close below that, but it's not good enough for me to, sell anything. It's a bunch of sideways bars, and I'm not interested in selling this at all. It's a small pullback bull trend. So bulls want to make new highs, so they need to now go and break above 27. What bears want is a double top with bar 27 high. So watch out here, okay? We also need, remember, we have the bullish version of this, okay? We have always, and what do we get in the bullish version? What do we look for? We look about 2-3 bars testing above the EMA, but not able to close, and that could still sell. So now I'm looking to see, will bears able to get some kind of double top here? Have you experienced using pivot point lines indicator rows? Oh yes, I have. My old trading life, I've tried all sorts of indicators, and I no longer use them. I don't really use them, but I do have friends that use them, and I do pay attention to those pivot levels. So what you can do is you can actually mark your chart ahead of time and use it. But really the pivot levels that I use on the RTH are these. The yesterday's high, yesterday's low, yesterday's close, current day's open, okay? Or I could say maybe week open, week close, last week's high and last week's low and last week's mid levels. So prior month's high, low, close. So those levels are my pivot levels basically. Okay, and for the daily pivots, I look at the closes and the lows, and then I measure, for example, if I want to see a pullback for bulls and I'm bullish, here's what I would do. I would measure from this pivot level all the way to the low of day that we have made. Okay, so if I'm in a small pullback bull trend, where do you think I'm going to take profit? It's the person who asked me this question, Med Guy. So by looking at this measurement, where do you think, if I'm bullish and I'm swinging this up, where do you think I would take profit? Question is for Med Guy. He's taking his medicine right now. We cannot bother him. I think that's what it means, Med Guy. I don't know. At the next pivot, now I put a Fibonacci retracement, right? So I'm measuring some range here. And if I divide that range in 1/3, okay, this is where I would take profit if I see bull bars closing above EMA and we're suddenly, we become always in long bulls. This is where I'm going to take profit regardless. Okay, so that's how I measure my targets, by using those pivot levels. But market is down, bulls are not closing consecutive bull bars. They had a good run here. Now they're kind of stuck at the EMA, but we already knew. So in order to continue to go up to those levels, which is right there, they really need to close a bull bar above the EMA, eliminate that possible double top, okay, with bar 27. And I warned you about that. Machines saw that possible double top, okay? That's why they started to take profit here, and that's why it started to come down a little. But last minute, in 7 seconds, if this bar closes above the EMA with a bull body, we have, well, it failed now. So they have not able, they were not able to close a bull bar above the EMA. Now, can you say, are we in always in long bulls? No. That is a double top still. It is a terrible double top, but it's still a double top. So what does this mean? Well, small pullback bull trend. Where do you buy? There are two ways to buy, right? Prior highs, which they bought. Below pullback bars, pullback, 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 right? So they bought it. They bought underneath 26, even though it's not the best. But they did buy underneath that terrible sell signal bar 27. Right, so now they're trying to go and make a new high by closing a bull body there. But they failed to close a bull body with bar 29. So now I'm watching to see if bulls are going to be able to eliminate this possible double top here, 27 high and 29 high. There is no bear body, so the 29 closed on its high. Bulls just need to finish this job, close a bull body, and test and go above the prior high 27. So this is still a small pullback bull trend, so it's still trying to get up here. See if I can find a good chart for you guys. Hang on a minute. Oh, there's a question here. Sorry. What are daily pivots? Are you looking at the... Yeah, I mean, I just talked about it. The yesterday's high, close, low, today's open, today's high of day or low of day, monthly open, close, prior week's high, low, and mid. Those are the ones. Okay, so let's see. Let me just give me 2 seconds. I've been talking, so I need to take a quick break here. I'm looking for the chart that could help us But you already see that this is a small pullback bull trend. It's probably going to last. Okay. Now, if you're looking for 50% pullback, we're almost there. Okay. So also should pay attention to that. Should pay attention to that. So we do have a parabolic wedge here. Okay, so the 50% is definitely target. Bears are still trying to get a decent double top. So there you go. See, now you understand why I didn't think this was a good double top, because the bar is so bullish. So that's why it pushed up. Now, if this closes bearish, then that's a much better double top. Okay, so then you would look to see, is this a good 3-push wedge and a double top reversal? Then you want to see this bar closing bearish and taking out that low, and then we would have a midpoint, double top midpoint. You want to see bears test and break that bar 28 low. But still, this is small pullback bull trend. I'm judging the bars before they are closed. So I cannot know 100% what they are going to do unless I wait until they close the bar fully. Okay, so I'm trying to find that. It's a limit order market, you can see, right? So we have sellers up top and buyers down here. Bar 30 is not a good bear close. Yes, it's a double top, but bears need a second, much better bear body closing in order to sell, to get the second entry short. This is first entry. They need to get the second entry. That means they need to close bar 31 bearish. But remember, pullbacks can be 1 or 2 bear bars. If the bears get 2 bear bars, but the bar 31 is yet another weak bear bar, I would not sell it. You need a bear bar closing below bar 30, okay? Otherwise, it's just not going to sell. And you can actually look to buy below the bear bars. Small pullback bull trends, okay? So if you actually go to, let me give you an example. If you're having a hard time trading the small pullback bull trends, go to Brooks trading course. Okay. Now, let me see. Okay, here we go. So, small pullback bull trend, you should go check out the course is starting with what is a trend, right? Always in, it starts with 13C, but small pullback bull trend would be 14E. Okay, you want to check that out. Tight channels and small pullback bull trend, exactly where to buy and where to sell. So you can, I like to look for pullbacks going to the last breakout levels, right? So maybe I can buy there and swing, or these levels as it pulls back, or I can buy below the bear bodies, although we never tested there, but we tested that one, or underneath those bull bars. I mean, I'm just going to buy every pullback, right? So, and if the bull bar closes after a pullback bar, I'll buy that close too. I'll keep buying, scalping. I'll keep buying, scalping. But really, where we're going, either that 50% or, like I said, if I measure from that to here, we're going to keep pushing towards that 4177 area. But first, pay attention to that 50% of the entire range. We still haven't closed a always in long bull bar above the EMA. You need 2 bars at least one of them fully closing is above the EMA or more than 80% of its body. We still don't have that. So watch the course 14E. It'll give you a great explanation on how to enter this. Okay. Can we close this gap today? We have a huge gap up here. Can we close this today? Who's got to do a lot better than this? I mean, we're not even above the EMA yet. So bears are still trying to prevent that close, and they're trying to sell, but I don't see any good sell bars either. So this could continue all the way to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock before selling. Or we're going to get a breakout. And in fact, we could actually go, if I'm going to sell this, this is where I want to sell. And I said we could go up to the 77. So the 77 is a little bit above, okay, the Globex low. Now, swing bears could be waiting right here. So we could end up going there, and then suddenly we could get swing bears selling this big time. That could happen. But right now, we're in a small pullback bull trend. Pullbacks are small, like 24, like 20, like 24, actually 23 and 24, and 28 and 30. So I have no reason to sell anything yet. Bears had a chance to close the bar 31 on its slow bearish. Well, they failed there as well. We keep making new highs, one-tick highs by testing prior highs. You can see bar 30 tested 27 high, 31 tested 30. So we could end up going up to 41.72, which is weave up, and then sell from there. And if we cannot close above, we are at the 50%, I think. So if we cannot close above another, a bull bar, we yet fail another time, then I'm going to look for a bear bar. Still waiting for it. Now, waiting to see if this bar is going to close bearish. If it closed bearish, then that's it. This was a 50% pullback to today's range. It's also 1, 2, 3 wedge, and it's actually 4 pushes in a way. So now sellers are looking. Okay, so now they're selling. Okay, so they started to sell probably underneath bar 30 because that's kind of the neckline. But this is the neckline I'm interested. Earlier I said if there's a double top here, this is the neckline. I like to see bears breaching that neckline and then sell again with another leg down. But this is where they're trying to reach now, okay? If you put a line to the bar 28 low, they're trying to test that. All right, I am done with my session, everyone. It's noon. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some food, and then I'll come back because I want to trade a little bit more. This could still be a pullback, by the way, so don't be discouraged. However, if we start to get more bear bars closing on their lows, then yes, this could be coming to an end, and we can swing down, in fact. So, but this is now becoming a very strong bear bar. The goal is to test the 28 low, like I said. So if you want to take profit there, if you sold this, pay yourself a little bit here because we may not break that. But the scalpers are looking for at least a 5 points. So if I actually measure from there, 5 points is right here. So the bears who sold maybe underneath here or underneath there, okay, they're looking for a 5-pointer. So they want to test that 28, close below it, and then have another leg down or another bar perhaps into that 5 point and take profit there. So it's like a surprise bar in a way, but it's also, here is a trend line, okay? It's the first break of the trend line from this wedge. When you have a wedge, or channel, whatever you call it, you got a first breakdown. If you don't want to sell it, that's fine. Wait for it to go up, give you some kind of lower high or double top, and then look for another bear close and sell that one. That's a higher probability sell. But these bears with bar 32, they want that 5-point scalp at least, right? Somewhere there. So that's also the first bar breaking that trend line. So if you're not tickled and you don't want to sell that, and just wait for a pullback and sell that. A bar like that, 32, might want to get another leg down. All right, so I'm going to grab some food and then I'll come back and I'll be in the Discord. I'll read more price action, whatever I'm trading, and I'll post charts. But otherwise, I hope you guys learned something today and made some money. If you have questions, do message me on Discord. I'd be happy to look at your charts and questions. I get a lot of messages, so I may not be prompt with my reply, so don't be upset about that. But see you guys this afternoon. Tomorrow is L. Brooks, and then I have the rest of the week also, 24th, 25th, and 26th. All right, have a good day, everybody. Take some break and come back, and see you guys later.